Um, Hi again, it's me, Kenny, and my throat is very sore today, so I won't be able to do voices very well. Um, we have Pesterquest, today's, episode, we have, Equius, a hawk, so let's begin it. It's a clear, cool night, and you're wandering around trying to decide whose hive you should crash at before the sun comes up. It's nice, having so many options for places to stay. You've cultivated a decent community for yourself, and there is an ember of pride in your belly about it. Still, you find yourself feeling a little aimless. The last couple friends you made were pretty intense. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're vibrating at a chiller frequency right now. There's still a while until it gets dangerously light out, so you sort of pop around, saying what feels right. Turn the volume down a bit, so I don't have to shout. It's kind of fun to test out the boundaries of your powers. You used it to find friends, but you're really not sure how far it goes. You think tree, and you don't know how your magic brain decided which one to choose. But fuck you if you aren't sitting on an extremely high branch a second later. Try it again with whatever concept comes to mind. And try again with whatever concept comes to mind. Garden. Try it again with whatever. Okay. Cave. Mall. And it all works. You don't remember ever having been to any of those specific places, but you feel a strange, prickly affinity for each of them as your feet touch the ground. They're all pretty generic locational nouns, though. You wonder if it works for things that are more abstract. Quickly before you can talk yourself out of the navigate. I can't speak. Now the naiveness of it, you think home. It still takes you a minute to open your eyes, even after you feel your guts all back in the right place, because what if you wake up in a world that feels like yours? Or worse, infinitely more likely, what if you don't? You breathe in deep and immediately cough wretchedly. You open your watery eyes, clinging to the hope that maybe you come from a land of dusty comforts, where you always just breathe in layers of dust, and it's fine. That's not fine. You find it inside one of the spineliest, most precarious hunks of metal that has ever been bolted into the side of a cliff. It looks like some ancient outpost, not homey at all. Of course that wouldn't work. It was stupid to try. Defeat is bitter in your mouth. There's a toasty part of you that wants to curl up on a particular piece of floor and take a nap. You can't work out how much that urge is, just you wanting to give in. So just in case, you don't surrender to it. Maybe you'll come back another time and sift through all the shit on the shelves. But for now, you're not sure how structurally sound this thing is, and you can't take any more disappointment. So you try one more time to pop up somewhere you haven't before. What was that one guy's name that Ginsey mentioned? Oh yeah, Equius. Maybe he's chill. You think his name and zap away, imagining yourself leaving an edgy, desperate swirl of dust in your wake. Your magical zap calibration maybe isn't as off as you thought, because you pop it on Equius as close as possible to get to do without landing directly on top of him. Astonishingly, unchilledness of the situation is immediately apparent. He's mid-jump, mid-yell, mid-sweat, mid-swing of an outlandishly beefy arm down toward you. You freeze from like an anime protagonist analyzing your choices mid-battle, and you're drawn out split-second of observation window. You realize he's not aiming at you, but in the direction of whatever noisy whirring thing just happened to land and pop in front of. Oh, fuck. As soon as he sees you, his eyes will shoot upward as his busted-ass sunglasses, and his yell strangles himself in a panic. His arms shudders as though he is trying and failing to alter his glorious faceward trajectory. You really do not want your face punched off your head, so you scream and zap out just outside the high arched door in the far off of the room. You hear a deep, meaty thunk, followed by a groan, and then a sharp metallic crunch. The roaring stops. My god, is he dead? Is the other thing dead? Should you check on him? Skitter away from the door, then go back to it, unsure of what to do. Was that? No, it couldn't have been. Hello. Show yourself this instant. Fuck, he does not sound happy. His words were a little garbled too, like some teeth just got knocked up or whatever his ass he was just kicking. You weigh your options. Oh no, oh man. You know the Gamzee's seal of approval is maybe not the most credible, but this guy might be an okay dude, and it would definitely be your fault if he was hurt in there. You should at least check on him, explain or something. You can zap away if it comes down to it. You did a polite thing this time and knock. He opens the door fast, like he was just on the other side of it. You both jump. He recollects himself and stares at you, arms crossed against his heaving chest. Rivulets of blood and sweat run together and pull down in the pivot above his weird alien clavicle, and a low menacing sound wobbles through him. You feel it in your teeth. Holy shit, he's terrifying. Explain yourself immediately. You think you might shit your pants on the spot, but he gives you a quick up and down, rearranges his expression in a sort of a forced smile. It doesn't really feel any more welcoming, with the blood dripping down his chin. I think he's trying is maybe a good sign. You hold in your fear shit just in case. Or, perhaps, come in and take a seat. He steps aside, beckoning you through the door, then sort of freezes. Unless you should be the one instructing me, in which case it would behoove you to make that promptly apparent. I cannot work out how exactly to address you when you don't wear your caste symbol, and you look like that, which I am either very sorry for or quite... I can't. Sorry, I'm not good at reading his typing card. Depending on where the truth lies. Either way, I am beginning to perspire about it. So out with it right now. Man, he's really struggling. The anger you felt radiating off him is still there, but it doesn't seem to be all of what's driving him. It's like there are two competing forces inside him. One that wants to yell at you, and the one that wants to get yelled at you. You might conceptualize these forces as fierce animals, warring in a glorious and unwavering balance. Horses, perhaps? Anyway, you'll workshop that metaphor later. You tell him, you look weird, but you promise you're cool. A friend of his. At the mention of Gamzee, the corner of his lips curls up into something complicated. So you change course real fast. In case. In Karkat? Does he know Karkat? What a guy. He eyes you warily. Or you think he probably does, with his eyes hidden behind his shades. You can't be sure, but he's being very still. Sweat and blood are still just fucking running down his face, and he's not even acknowledging it. You laugh nervously. You continue to stand there, waiting for the other to make a move. It'd be super helpful if someone was assertive around here. Whoa! Hello, sir? I did not expect, horse Stilf to appear, but, I might have to age restrict this. Luckily, some kind of cow centaur man, his Lucis you assume, breaks the awkward doorway, stalemate by silently trotting up and handing Equius a desperately needed towel. He then offers you both some frosty glasses of milk. Something deep inside you feels a swell of warm recognition for the ritualistic moment of a friend's parent bringing you snacks, so you down that thick shit in one go. The Lucis' mustache flutters in appreciation, and after a nod between him and Equius, he leaves as quietly as he came. I see you're an aficionado of the sweetest of nectars. And this speaks to the likelihood of your nobility, which is reassuring. I might be able to overlook the circumstances of our meeting then. If you could provide strong evidence, of course. Tell me, are you also a hoof-beast art enthusiast? He beckons you aside the room, and as you follow, you tell him you're not really sure what that means, but probably you're a fan of a lot of... Oh. This is getting age restricted. Wow, okay, that's what he means. Cool, yeah, whatever. You feel like you learned once that anything can be art if it feels right. So, art can definitely be the, muscled horsemen on the walls in this living space. Equius rumbles in agreement and gestures toward a chair. It's one of those cool red and black gamer-themed chairs with embedded speakers. There's a lot of that kind of decorating motif in here, which is a little at odds with the high collegian engraved doorways and general blue blood old money architecture. Oh yeah, haha. There are broken bows and robot parts all over the goddamn fucking place. Not in neat little stacks, or connected to other robot parts to create whole robots, just an absolute wasteland of obliterated robo-corpses. Like they all were torn limb from limb and then just scooted off toward the wall. A fair few of them are spattered in blood, too. Dried. It looks almost black, but the fresh stuff on the fists of the other one in pieces at your feet is bright indigo. On the one hand, it is absolutely in relief to see that it's all metal and not flesh body parts scattered around the floor, but also it's still, not fucked up looking. Your smile probably has too many teeth in it to seem normal, but Equius returns it kindly and leans. What he probably thinks is casually against the edge of his desks. It creaks under his weight. Jesus, he could just end you in half a second, couldn't he? You claim we have mutual acquaintances, so demonstrate it. He nods towards the screen on his desktop, where he has Trollian open. Oh fuck, okay. I guess you can just click on someone and ask them to prove it. He seems to know both Carcat and Gamsey. Between the two, you know who's most likely to be online and ready to pester and be pestered at all time. So click his screen name and start typing. Okay. We're using his computer to talk. Okay. Hey Carcat, I hope you're having a good day. I just had a quick favor to ask you.
Wait, what?
Oh, also I missed you.
What the fuck? What happened to you? Where's your horrifying quirk? How am I supposed to saddle up for some truly nauseating conversation if I don't have a veiled at all bold reference greeting me at the beginning of every one of your excruciating messages? Are you sick? Like in a new way?
Alright, Jesus, you're logging in as Equius. You fool ass, just start typing like your own account. For some reason, you blame it on the nerves to get clarifying. Sorry, this is your new friend. After I dropped you off yesterday, I wandered around for a while and now I'm hanging out with Equius. I'm using his computer.
Oh, my pusher almost fucking gave up on the spot.
I don't think he trusts me. Can you vouch for me?
Hold on, let me just bask in the concept of the two of you hanging out. This is a mental masterpiece, a tableau of awkward fucking splendor. I legitimately do not know what sort of short-circuiting must be happening in his brain to try to make sense of you. Please don't tell me a single fucking thing about it later. Phew, I'm done now. Is he watching?
Equius leans over your shoulder and tucks his hair behind his ears so he doesn't get it in the way of his typing.
It's a bow and arrow. Any resemblance otherwise is only a peasant coincidence. And yes, I am watching.
Okay, whatever. Listen up, you milk log chum squelcher. This little guy right here, the one you're probably dripping sweat all over, that's one of the realest friends you will ever hope to make. Sure, they'll send your life careering horrendously off, of course, but it will absolutely be worth it for a level of dedication they bring to the table. Don't even bother with the blood color horseshit with this one, since they're the only one of their species. Just roll with it for once in your wretched life. Don't fuck this one up, Sahak. They're an abomination, and they wouldn't know what a boundary was if you took it up to resistance in their grease chute. But you two have those things in common, so in this case, that's a good thing.
Equius inhales sharply, and you wonder what Karkat meant by that. About Equius, you mean? Sure, you're an inexplicable being, neither Earthling nor Alternian, but with weird itchy memories about having lived on both planets. But he doesn't seem out of the normal range of fucked up, considering troll standards.
In fact, how about this?
That is sufficient. Goodbye.
He minimizes the window and steps back, somehow sweatier than he was before. He taps a towel gingerly to his forehead.
So, we have now been properly introduced.
Okay then, you definitely thought he was going to be more thorough than that. He does seem a little shaken up, so maybe you should just be thankful the conversation got cut short before he could really dig too deep into your lore and get judgmental about it.
I do not know the standard method of communication with your species. You will take the lead here, and it will surely become clear how I should proceed. Yes, that sounds extremely feasible. It will now begin the friendship process. I command it.
Oh, sure, you got this. How exactly you got this? Great, you can do that. Making friendship happen is like the one skill you actually do have. From what you can recall, you have a 100% success rate at it too, so this budding Muppet is safe in your hands.
Excellent.
Phew! You really weren't sure he'd be down for this. It really seems like he might be coming to kill you when you hear him stopping toward the door earlier.
Kill you? I would never.
He cuts himself off, as though he didn't intend to admit he didn't have it in to murder you, and he clears his throat.
At first I thought you might be a Ruther, a Lucis. It's ridiculous looking back, though you do share a sort of globular-plated resemblance. How did you come to entangle yourself in my bra, only to immediately escape? Are you abnormally fast? I admit that particular method of being strong had not occurred to me, but I am intrigued. I, too, like to test the limits of my physical capability.
Oh no, you just zap places. It's kind of a strength, maybe, if you want to define your superpower that way. You show off a bit, since you know Equius likes demonstrations. You tell him about how all you have to do is think of a place or a person you want to visit, and pop! He pops the top of a pile of robot parts, then back in front of him on the floor. It's like that, except anywhere.
I see. That is exceptional.
He sort of just starts shaking gently where he stands. He rubs his neck with his towel, but he's not really even sweating any more than he was been already. It's just as though his excitement, he forgot to sweat. It's just dabbed by force of habit. Is that a thing? Why are you even noticing that shit?
Is it possible to bring along a pillion rider?
What, like a zap buddy with you? In answer, you extend an elbow for him to grab. His whole body is vibrating at this point. He reaches his hand out, but stops just before he touches you. Like you might shock him. It's okay, it won't hurt, you say. His fingers twitch, just above your elbow. His mouth purses in distrust. You're not sure exactly what he's worried about, since you're extremely undangerous, but you let him have a moment to work through whatever he's nervous about. He takes a steadying breath. It's a little unsettling to see his face relax, even briefly, into soft, calm lines. Flip palm up, his hand slowly cradles your forearm from below. He nods, a sharp, determined movement, and starts telling you what to do again.
You will take me with you. Her name is Nepeta. Do you require any other information, or that would be sufficient?
That ought to do it. You haven't heard of her, you don't think, but you feel an immediate surge of excitement about this little jaunt. It's probably mostly just a friendship thirst talking, but you can't help but feel like this is a connection that is supposed to be made, like it's something that matters. You zap away. A pleasant little cosmic slip-inside feeling when you zap around is jolted, like you got yanked off the ride with a fishhook under your guts. You went back exactly where you started.
That did not work. You mislead me.
No, this should work. You're not even high this time. As impressive as the stretch of your power is, perhaps you need to apply more attention to the more intricate details involved.
She's an olive blood, very short, and shamefully unkempt. This information will help.
You hope so. He is, starting to look pretty tense. Even with the final lilt in his voice, he talks about his messy friend. You give it another whirl, and you feel it. That same weighty glare on the back of your neck telling you don't belong. Fuck! You got zip blocked again.
You will try again.
Each word is ground out, one at a time between his clenched teeth. Blood trickles through the cracks in his bite in the corner of his lips. You really don't think it's going to work, but Equius looks like he's a second away from losing his shit, so you reluctantly comply. Quit fucking trying to skip ahead, it's not going to work. As you hurtle through space-time towards Equius' floor, you start to wonder if this is just gonna be what happens now when you try to make friends. You accept this truth into your heart as your face accepts the impending wood planks. Equius lands on his feet a little way away from you, his hands balled to fists, bellowing with impotent rage. He's not even saying words, just unleashing an agonized guttural wail. He punches an already dead robot torso leaning against a bookshelf. In punctuation, he kicks its decapitated head, which explodes in a shower of bolts and sparks. As the dust clears, you see him dutifully wiping himself down with a towel. He seems to have worked his anger out because he walks with purposeful grace, as though he learned it in a coalition, and sits next to you where you're still sort of laying on the floor. You're both silent for a beat. Equius tugs at a lock of his hair, anxiously wrapping it around his finger. His hands fall to his lap.
I apologize for that display. The disappointment emotion is not my favorite. I feel better now, however. My Morwell lives very far away, so our paths have never been able to cross. Whatever force is blocking us seems to wield significant narrative power, so I will respect its whims as above my own status for now.
You know, that happens. You're no stranger to the ups and downs of friendship. The trick is to know when to keep trying and when to fall back, no matter how futile it feels or how alone you are.
Your moral is impressive, considering your circumstances.
That's probably mostly a compliment. You're not really sure. Your circumstances definitely feel like they could be worse.
You are very sure of yourself. How do you manage this when you are the only one of your kind? How has society to tell you how to act or feel? How do you know if you are living in the correct way? How do you know where you belong? Or if you belong?
Fucking ouch. The desire to belong is yawning around in your guts. One that never seems to heal. You try not to let this rip too many stitches out of it. You never feel totally secure, you say. There's always fear, doubt, pain. But when you find people in unlikely places, make community when and where you can. Shit. You could have belongings at, what, like 8 people's houses by now? It's not the same as having your own spot. That's definitely something. You started off on the defensive, but you realize it's true. So really, you figure, you're still defining yourself by your relationships to other people. That can come from a good place, and not just a twisted and forced one. You get wanting to know you're doing something. Right, unlocking your own mentality device set of achievements for that sweet dopamine rush. But leaning on a fucked up societal system for direction and validation doesn't really help him, and it definitely isn't helping many others. You don't need to figure yourself out. His brows furrow, and you can almost hear a couple of the 4,672 rigid barriers in his brain creaking open. It's not just other people you think. You find strength. Strength! Is that right? In your own self, too. You've met a lot of people and learned a lot of ways to be, but you're still working on what that means for you.
No, it's not right, but I appreciate the attempt. This type of understanding does not come easy to me, but I believe I am following. In my case, I have striven to locate the retool of the edge of my own ability. Physical prowess is a relative typical indigo trait, but I am abnormally strong. I have worked to hone it in an attempt to make sense of myself and why I am like this. Reigning in it is an aberrant trait and defining myself by it.
He gestures a god-awful robot mess, then flexes his hand. The blood is collated since you two started talking. He stares at it.
This way of thinking may not always be a good thing, however. Certain habits are difficult to break. Though there are loopholes in every rule, I often lose track of which regulates I actually enjoy following and which I just don't know how to disregard. At least with this hobby, all the stakes are under my control. No chance of others getting hurt.
Unless they haphazardly zap in between your fight looking for friendship, that is. The smile is as broken and rigid as it was the first time, but it feels different, backed by the rough warmth of his laugh.
Yes, do not do that again.
Ah, he's cute. I like Equius now.
Next time you will zap to the front door and Arutha will let you in.
Next time, you think, and you smile back. That was cute! I liked that. That was cute. Well, we did Equius, so next time we get to do Terezi Pyrope. So yeah, stay tuned for that.